Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Well, today we're looking at verses 3 and 4 in Psalm 20. So if you have your Bibles, why don't you grab them, and we're going to study a little bit here today. On this first call, the caller is speaking. We're in worship. We're seated somewhere in the temple precincts, and we hear the caller saying these words, and we're getting excited because we know that we're going to have a piece to say here in just a minute. So we began yesterday with verses 1 and 2, and so today we're going to read verses 3 and 4. So turn your Bibles there, Psalm 20, verse 3 and verse 4. Remember all thy offerings, and accept thy burnt sacrifice, Selah. Grant thee according to thine own heart, and fulfill all thy counsel. Okay, so we're right in the middle of this call. The leader's speaking, and he began yesterday saying, "The Lord hear thee in the day of trouble," and so forth. And then at the end of 2, strengthen thee out of Zion. But we're still not done with the thought, and so we begin with the verb here, remember. So it's the Lord is doing all these things. He's hearing, he's saving, he's defending, and then he says, remember all thy offerings. So he's saying the Lord's going to remember all your offerings and accept your burnt sacrifice. So again, wonderful, isn't it, that the Lord is going to do these things for his people. And the caller is saying, the Lord's going to do this. May the Lord do this. That's the idea behind these words. May the Lord hear thee. May the name of the God of Jacob defend thee. And then we come down here to verse 3. May he remember. So all the faithfulness of the people, may he remember that. Their offerings, their burnt sacrifices. And then you have a Selah, which is interesting right here because we're not done with the thought yet. You know, the Selah breaks it so that you pause for a moment, but the thought's not through because he continues in verse 4 with grant thee. So it's just like verse 3, remember all thy. Now it's grant thee. So we're still in this, may the Lord do this, may he remember, may he grant. So what's he granting? He's granting according to your own heart. Now, I think that's probably why the Selah is in between the two, because the caller wants you to remember. He wants you to think about all your past faithfulness, or if there's been any. He wants you to think. This is almost like this is a silent invitation. The caller says, may the Lord remember all your burnt offerings and accept thy burnt sacrifices. Did you? Have you? Where have you been? And then he says, grant thee according to thine own heart. Well, wait a minute. Now we're starting to meddle. You know, you've heard that saying, the preacher's gone from preaching to meddling. Well, here it is. He's gone from preaching to meddling. So it's wonderful the Lord remember all your burnt sacrifices. Will he? And then grant you all your own heart's desire. And that's the idea here. Grant thee according to thine own heart. Where's my heart been? Is my heart with my treasure, or is my heart someplace else? Who is my treasure? Is Jesus my treasure? Because if he's going to grant me according to my own heart, I might not want that. And fulfill all thy counsel. Ooh, do I want that? Do I really want that? So it's the preacher has definitely gone to meddling here. Grant you according to your own heart, fulfill thy counsel. Okay, well, let's see what the people say. So tomorrow we're going to look at verse 5, which is the people's response to this. This is the response of the responsive reading. So the caller has made his statement, and now the people in verse 5 are getting ready to make their statement. And so we'll see what they have to say tomorrow as we come back. And tomorrow we're going to read, we're just going to read verse 5 tomorrow. So just the people's response to the preacher's message. Okay. I hope you'll join me then here on Daily Dose Radio.